Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Copy Corner with Terry Schilling.
And Dan Marzullo.
Hello, hello. And this is our corner of the internet where we are delivering the people copywriting tips and digital marketing and freelance marketing writing tips to help people write more creative, engaging messages for their audience and help build a business that they love. So we're really excited to have you guys here. We are doing this live via video. And I know a lot of you are listening on the Copy Corner podcast. And we've been getting great responses, Dan. And what people love is that these are like less than 10-minute episodes. This is great. You're getting actionable and practical tips, in less time. It's amazing.
Yeah, everybody's got stuff to do. We're trying to respect your time.
Yeah, exactly. But today like I said, we have a good topic. We're going to get back to some basics with copywriting and some things that I know a lot of people struggle with. So we're going to talk about how to go from generic copy to specific engaging copy. So I know we all hear these phrases, these generic phrases of we provide innovative task management solutions, or our customers love us, or, premium high quality or premium customer service, high quality solutions, things like that. Right, Dan? Is there any other ones that you can think of off the top of your head? I
think you hit them all, Terry.
No, but they're everywhere, Dan. They're all over the internet. They're everywhere in marketing copy. And we want to talk about some specific ways that you guys can easily change this from generic to more specific. But Dan, I'll let you start because it really comes down to having this foundation of who we're actually speaking to, which I know you'll touch on here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think you have to have really specific buyer personas mapped out first, right? Because you can't speak specifically to someone who's everyone, right? There's just no way to, you have to be general because you're trying to capture all these different attention. So, literally get your Google Doc open and map out your buyer personas. Like, what are their pain points? What are their problems? How do you solve them? Get as specific as possible, because then when you're writing your copy, you can make that very specific and custom tailored to whatever it is that individual is struggling with, right? So if you don't do that, you're forced to be generic because you're trying to talk to everyone.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Great advice. And, as humans, we're visual people. So it's you can't really visualize what, powerful solutions are, or high quality solutions or premium customer service, right? And that's what we mean when you think that way. It's what does my customer feel? And how vivid of a picture am I painting with this copy? And so when you have that mind frame, you can really switch it up. And I love what you said of just about finding your customer avatar and then just finding out, their pain points. Think about what pisses them off. How can our solution help them? And then you can get more of these specific situations. Dan and I were talking before we got on here, but if you're selling a natural hair loss product, right? You don't want to just say natural hair loss solutions. You can just say get your confidence back with the flowiest hair you've ever seen, something like that. Right? But it's the word get is something that we like. It's less friction, that we can get something right away. But you could just say, imagine yourself walking into a bar post-COVID, of course, with extreme confidence, just like that. And that's what we're selling here. That's the emotional benefit of the benefit. We're selling confidence and a hair a natural hair product that can get your hair back. But we talked about some of those generic phrases in the beginning of our customers love us, and you can change that to just be 100 customers are using us right now, right? And then maybe have one of those widgets that shows how many people are using it, or have testimonials go right into that. You can just say reliable customer service. You can switch that to hear from a human within 48 hours. Right. And just even the word hear back from, we're visualizing that. We're getting to know what's next. So we're using some psychology tips here as well, and just some visualizations, words like see and feel and look. Those are good ways to change these generic phrases into specific ones.
Right. Yeah, Terry. And while you were talking on that one, I pulled up a good example that I wanted to read off here of, a very specific one that I really like. So this one is for a company called Seamless.ai, and they're a sales automation platform. Yeah. But here's their slogan: helping salespeople flood their calendars and make 7 figures in sales. So it's hey, we're, the biggest problem salespeople have is filling their calendars with appointments, right? So we're flooding your calendars with booked prospects that want to buy from you. Like that's super powerful, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it just, you say like reliable AI software, and you can just say something and like be more specific, like see positive conversions, with this trick, something like that. Like see positive conversions is just more specific. Like get results that work for your business. It's like increase your conversions by 30% with our help. Like that's just way more specific than these generic claims. So just think about that. And I know it's just easy to get the marketing copy out there. And again, the underlying message is the right way of thinking. But when you're bragging about yourself with these we and are and I statements, you're just selling. You're not telling them how you can improve their lives. And so that's the big thing. And that goes back to the research with the avatars and finding out these pain points. But yeah, Dan, great example. I mean, I've used examples before of just like, we're reimagining task management solutions, right? Those reimagining, those words are just so buzzworthy right now, right?
Yeah.
You can change that around. Like an example I use is like, open one app to see your to-do list instead of 7, right? Like that's like a solution. That's like a pain, right? Like that's a pain point. It's like I have all these multiple apps that I'm using to see everything, but imagine if you had one that you could see everything instead of having 7 browser tabs open. Right. And that just replaces it. It's more specific than reimagining task management solutions. Right.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it.
Yeah. But so these are some ways that you guys could go from generic to specific and, of course, engaging copy that really persuades people to take action, because that's what copywriting is. You want to get people to to take something from Joseph Sugarman in his Adweek book. It's like, the goal of copywriting is to get people to spend their hard-earned money on your product or service. And so, tap into their pain points, put yourself in their shoes, and be specific with your copy.
Yep.
Yeah, Dan approves. Anything else, buddy?
No, you nailed it, Terry. I mean, you just gotta, map out those buyer personas and be specific. Write words that sell, right? Don't waste your time with generic copy that's not going to motivate anyone to take action.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Copy Corner. We hope that these tips, again, are helpful and you can use them in action in your business right away. That's our goal with these episodes. So again, thank you. Please, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, download us on Spotify, leave us some reviews. We do these live every Monday, so you can follow the Copy Corner hashtag, follow Dan and I on LinkedIn and our YouTube channels to watch these live and even comment and ask questions. We love getting some participation there. But yeah, Dan, final words. What do we got? Anything else going on in your life that you want to talk about?
Everybody have a good week. That's all I got.
Everybody have a good week. All right, everyone. As always, love what you do. Proceed with passion. And we will see you on the next episode of the Copy Corner. Take care.